Hey guys, it's your host again of the Garchomp Daily. I hope you guys are doing well. I know I've been gone past a couple days. I've just been really trying to hunker down and make a schedule of videos I want to make. Going forward, I am going to do more daily posts, but I wanted to, bring you guys some good content. I will always be about, consistency, and if I see a video that hasn't been posted in, like, let's say 2 days, and I'm going to post, a video that day. But I want to do it daily, and, we are the Garchomp Daily after all. But I want to at least make, like, a schedule, just so it's not, like, the same repetitive stuff, you know what I mean? So today, I was going over shinies, and I was like, I really want to hunker down on shinies. My next video is going to be a shiny hunt. I definitely love to do that, and please let me know down below if you'd like to see me do shiny hunts on Sword and Shield and also Scarlet and Violet more. I do plan on doing some more Scarlet and Violet. I'm currently trying to shiny hunt a shiny Latias in Pokemon Shield right now. I almost said Sword, but Shield. And that's been a pain, just because it is a 1 in 300 chance. I'm just like not getting anything right now. But again, you usually average like, to finish a Dynamax Adventures, usually like one round takes like 15 minutes. So if I spend like 5 hours, which I even usually like just spend like 5-6 hours a day, like that just like equates to like over 20 rounds. So let me know below what you think. But today we're going to go over shinies, but specifically underrated shinies that I believe don't get enough attention, but I believe should get more love. So with that being said, let's get started. I'm gonna try being quick. We're going to do every single type here, and we will go from there. I'm gonna try being fast. So let's start off with Gen 1, with normal types. Dotrio. Again, out of all these, and these are underrated shinies, not like my favorite shinies. And Dotrio, I just feel doesn't get enough recognition as it gets, and I feel that its shiny is nice. I do like the green. It almost looks like a bush, and it just matches it. And these are all shinies that are underrated. They're just not talked about enough. But let's go on to fire types in Gen 1. Really, fire types in Gen 1 kind of had some pretty good shinies, and I can't really say that there's really many that are underrated. But I guess one that is not talked about enough would be Rapidash. And here's my thought process. People talk about Ninetales all of the time. Rapidash. I like how it's like smoke. It isn't just like fire. It's just gray smoke, and I really do like that. Moving on to water types. Again, there were so many good ones, but in my opinion, Starmie. I love Starmie. Like, Starmie is pretty strong. I mean, the way it is. 520 like base stat total is nice. And its shiny is pretty nice. I do want to eventually get a shiny Starmie on my team in Shield. I would not mind having a shiny Starmie. That would be really nice. And I believe that's also an underrated Pokemon in its own right, at least now. Shout out to all my Misty fanboys and girls out there. Grass types, again, they are either really good or not very good at all. But I would have to say, one I do not see talked about enough that is good, but it's not talked about enough, would be Vileplume. I like Vileplume shiny. I don't see some of the hate Vileplume gets now. Like, I was looking, and people either just don't like it or they just don't talk about it, and I don't get it. I really don't. But I do like it shiny, and I do like Vileplume. For electric type, there weren't very many introduced. If I were to give a underrated shiny, it would have to go to Jolteon, just because, it has a good shiny. I like the almost like electric lime green it has going on. It is a really weird shiny, but again, it's easily the best one out of all of these. That is underrated. Obviously, Voltorb and Electrode are like the best shinies with like here. Magnemite and Magneton being like a close second. Ice types, again, not very many, but I have to go Cloyster because I do like Cloyster, and it was there within water, so I wanted to save it for ice. For fighting, I would have to say probably Wrath, just because, you know, Poliwrath is just a cool Pokemon to begin with. I mean, really. And I like how it's just, you know, a frog. It's just a frog. Again, Poison type, I would have to go Muck. I mean, best shiny would go to, Wheezing, Coughing, but underrated shiny, Muck. You know, I do like Muck shiny. Very underrated. And out of these, it's for Poliwrath, it's definitely underrated because I do feel that I personally really like Machamp shiny. I don't know about you guys, but I do. I know some people do not like it, but as we go on to ground type, my bad. Again, I'm not choosing like the best shiny. I'm looking at underrated shinies. If I were to go underrated, personally, I have to say Geodude, just because I was not talked about enough and kind of looks just like a gold nugget, you know, and like because of that, I really like that, you know. You may call my reasoning blasphemy, but that's okay. Flying types, I would definitely have to go. I can't, go with Gyarados. Gyarados has one of the best shinies. But I will probably go for this. It's actually kind of difficult because either like they're really bad or they're really, really good. Pharaoh's shiny is actually pretty underrated. And Pharaoh's just kind of underrated in general. This is one of the Pokemon that I hope to get at Mega Evolution. In Psychic, I believe for Psychic type Pokemon, when it comes to shinies, there's not very many. Like you have a couple here that are great, like Starmie, Exeggutor, Mewtwo, but those are great shinies. But Slowbro's pretty underrated. Not enough to talk about with its shiny at least. Bug types, I would have to go Venomoth, not talked about enough, and Beedrill's obviously the best shiny out of all of those. But that's just me. Rock type, I need to scroll this over a bit. I'd say Amistar, honestly. Lord Helix himself. I would put him there just because it's rather nice. And then really, we don't have much of a ghost type selection, but I would say out of all the shinies, the Ghastly one is the most underrated. And may I just say, I don't think they fumbled Gengar shiny because I think Gengar shiny is good. It's just that they fumbled Gengar's regular form because Gengar's original form used to be like really purple, kind of like Haunter, and then they changed it to almost the same as its shiny. So I don't think that they fumbled Gengar shiny. I think Gengar shiny is fine, but they fumbled its base looking form. So let me know if you agree with that or not. Now Dragon types, underrated would have to be Dragonite because I think everyone likes these. Well, people know about Dragonite a lot more. I would still have to say Dragonair because Dragonair is like the middle evolution, not talked about enough. So I definitely would say that's. But what we'll go with. Excuse me. Dark type. Oh, this is kind of interesting because there were technically no dark types. But let's go with the evil Lavender Town Ghost, or just the Ghost NPC. Obviously, with these guys, we're going to go. We'll go Magneton. And then fairies. Igglybuff, I'm going to have to go with. Just because it's the only option I can really see. Underrated starter shiny. I would say like underrated. I would have to say Blastoise. Gimmick form. I just love Meows. When it comes to that, I would say like best shiny, like underrated shiny for a gimmick. Would have to be Mega Beedrill. I really do like it. And then for them, most underrated would have to probably be Moltres. And my favorite out of all these guys I've chosen. It'd probably be Starmie. I really do love Starmie a lot. Let's go through this real quick. Gen 2. For normal types, I'm going to go with underrated. I would have to go with Miltank. I do like the blue cow. The blue cow is all it is. For fire types, ooh, we got some interesting picks here. Entei and Ho-Ohs are prime, so they're automatically knocked out. Magma or Magcargo. Or, yeah, I can't believe I am spacing your name right now. I usually have like a Pokédex up just in case like I like miss one. Slugma, and then we got Magcargo. Slugma is really cool because it's like dried, so I'm going to go with Magcargo. Water, I love Frogger, so that's too good. A lot of these are just really too good. Shiny Kingdra. Shiny Kingdra is underrated, and Kingdra in itself is underrated. Shiny Meganium is very underrated. Even though it's probably the best one there, but I don't ever see it talked about enough. Electric type. I have to go with Lantern. We don't got very much option here, but I would go probably Piloswine as underrated. People know how Heracross. Hitmontop isn't talked about enough. I like Hitmontop. For Bug, I'm gonna say Gyarados. I actually like Gyarados' shiny a lot. It's very colorful. Ground type, I would have to go with Wooper, because it's straight up just an axolotl. It's also very not spoke about. For flying, and again, I'm going to save Lugia for this, just because Lugia's shiny is very underrated. So for flying, I'm going to have to go with Crobat. Some people hate Crobat shiny, but I think it's really underrated. I kind of like the whole almost like bootleg toy aesthetic, which is funny because Pokemon has some people trying to bootleg it out there, like with bootleg toys. Now for Psychic, I would have to go, with Espeon. With Bug, I would have to go Fortress. I love Fortress shiny, especially shiny hunting it in Scarlet and Violet, because it's so shiny. Like I know it's a shiny, but it's like a very shiny. Like it reflects so much. It's quite nice. Imagine that, shiny. But anyways, rock type. I could go Sudowoodo. Pretty underrated shiny, pretty pleasant. Ghost, obviously, only have one option. Would that be Mischievous? Dragon type, which would have to be Kingdra, which we would have to go back over here because I do not want to do duplicates. I'll go Quags. Well, Slowking. Slowking's is pretty underrated, so I'll go Slowking. Dark. I'd say Murkrow is pretty underrated. I do like Murkrow shiny. I'll go with. Actually, quite interesting. I'm like debating if I want to do that or Skarmory. I'm going to go Skarmory. Fairy type. This is actually quite interesting. Let's see if I may go Snubbull. Honestly, because that one's not talked about enough. It does have a nice shiny. As a starter. Again, I chose Meganium for that, so I'm going again, we don't talk enough about Typhlosion's shiny, and I do like it. I'm out of these. Underrated, 'cause everyone talks about all of these for the most part, except really for Houndour. Well, Houndoom. Not Houndour, but Houndoom. We'll go Houndooms. And Legendary, Lugia. Favorite out of all of these would be Kingdra. I do love Kingdra Shiny. I am all about Kingdra getting love, man. Now to Gen 3 for normal types. This is actually quite interesting. I'm just really trying to see. I may go Linoon because no one talks about Linoons enough. And kind of like the whole, slacking line is pretty talked about with shinies. And Swallow I'll bring back with flying type later. For fire, there were not very many fire types within Gen 3, at least like notable ones, and that's upsetting. Torkoal, I'm gonna put Torkoal. No one talked about Torkoal enough, like within shiny form. I know some people use it for competitive, but when it comes to a shiny, no one talks about it too much. For water, this is quite difficult because we know that there are like a lot of water in the Hoenn region. But which one is it that we want to choose? That's the thing, because there's some good and there's some bad. Swampert's good. I can't remember. This is underrated, so I am really debating personally between Wailord and Gorbis. I hardly ever see. I've seen people actively catch a shiny Gorbis, but I've never seen someone just like. I haven't seen very many people catch just like a shiny Wailord. And I definitely would love to see more shiny Wailords. And Wailord's just cool. Also, just like how like you see like a giant Wailord in Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's just some type of like it's just sitting out there, just floating. Now for grass types. I mean, all these Pokemon are kind of talked about enough, but I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about Cradily shiny enough. But Cradyli's talked about enough though. Yeah, I'm not gonna go Cradyli's. I do feel that it is, but Cacturne has a really good shiny, but I don't hear not enough people talking about Cacturne. Considering that's kind of like a spooky, Pokemon. Plusle and Minun. I like Minun shiny the most, and and both of them are very underrated. And I do like Minun's shiny. For ice, it's like Glalie just hasn't had sleep in multiple days, so that's all shiny is really. I may have to go cast form, but it's wind form. I mean, I like it shiny, and it's decent enough. Fighting. Breloom is quite common, so I have to go do that. I'll go Blaziken, just because Blaziken's is enough to tell, but at the same time, it's not the best, but it is mostly like the best underrated out of here. Because I'm not like a really big fan of just the Combusken. I couldn't think of its name, but Combusken. Even though that it has had a shiny change throughout the years, but yeah, no, we'll just go on from there. And I'm not a very big fan of Hariyama shiny personally. Now for Poison. But we will get to Bug here in a second. I'd say Swalot has a very underrated shiny. I like its blue. I really do. For ground, underrated. Claydol. I think Claydol is also just an underrated Pokemon in general. Like Claydol is like, especially in Dynamax Adventures, Claydol has been kind of clutch for me. Especially when you do Trick Room with it. It's quite nice. It's fast. So it's a really underrated shiny. For flying, I'm going automatically Swallow. I really wish Swallow didn't fall off like it did, because it was basically the Staraptor before Staraptor existed. Now for Psychic, this is gonna be interesting. I see the Lugia down there, but underrated shiny, I'd have to give it to the Unknowns. I do like Unknown Shiny. I do like Unknowns. And they're very underrated, not talked about enough. We haven't really seen much of them, so I'd like to see more of them. Game Freak, bring back more about the Unknowns. For Bug, Dustox is quite just talked about enough. I can't really put that there. This is actually quite difficult because I'm between Shedinja and Ninjask, but Shedinja's isn't really the best, so I'll go Ninjask just because it looks more like a cicada. It's quite not. It's literally not talked about enough. Again, all these are pretty decently talked about Pokemon, but it's just not. I'm trying to see which one's the most underrated. I'll go Solrock just because it does have an interesting shiny, and it's not talked about enough. Sableye Shiny is not talked about enough, and I do like Sableye Shiny. Ooh, Dragon. This is up my alley. So for Dragon, underrated Shiny would have to be Altaria. It's between Altaria and Latios. I do like it. Latios is more, but Latios' Shiny is known a little bit more, so Latios' Shiny is kind of known a lot more, so I'll go with that. For Dark type, I'll go Absol. People don't talk about Absols enough. Steel type, I'm going to go Mawile. I already know this one off the bat. For Fairy, people always talk about Gardevoir, but they don't talk about the rest. I'll go at Azrael. No one talks about Azrael enough. For starter, most underrated. All these are pretty good, but I have to say I can't use Blaziken, so I'll use Blaziken. People don't talk enough about shiny Swampert enough, so I'll give it to Swampert. Everyone talks about Mudkip and shiny Mudkip, but no one talks about Swampert, and I love Swampert. Like, that's usually the one that I go with. I mean, Water Ground is a great typing. And for this one, underrated, I'm probably going to go with shiny Sharpedo. Just because we don't talk about the shiny enough, and it's not been on here yet. Legendary, I'm going to have to go Latias. I am hunting it, trying to shine on it currently, but I do love Latias' shiny. The best, and my favorite out of this one would have to be Latias. Gen 5, well, Gen 4, sorry. Gen 5's next, but Gen 4 is my favorite, but Gen 5 is my second favorite. Okay, I mean, actually, as I think about it, I'd say Gen 4 is my favorite, then Gen 3, then Gen 5. Gen 5 is pretty close to my second spot, so. For normal type, we'll go to Porygon. Just because no one really talks about it enough. And again, like I'm still trying to shiny hunt more of it within Scarlet and Violet, but Porygon Z is pretty nice shiny, and it's not talked about enough. But it's nice. Rotom Heat form, which is the oven, not talked about enough, but regular Rotom shiny is talked about enough. For water types, there's not like enough like good water types on this for them, but I'm really trying to just like debate here. This one actually stumped me because these are not like the best shinies. Why, I may go Weasel or Floatzel. I'll go Floatzel. For grass types, I will go. Excuse me. Tangrowth. Very underrated, not talked about enough. And I do like how it's just like green vegetation. Pachirisu Shiny is not talked about enough, and Pachirisu Shiny was one of the first Raid Den Shinies I got in Scarlet and Violet. I was freaking out when I saw it. Weavile. Weavile shiny gets so much hate, but the more that I've grown up, the more that I've seen people slowly trying to like it. Not enough to where it's like, oh, you know, it's more well known. It's quite underrated, and I do like it shiny. You know, I will die on that hill because it does have a nice shiny. Fighting type, Gallade. It just gets overshadowed by Gardevoir too much. Poison type, Skuntank. Ground type. Mamoswine's pretty underrated for a shiny. I like Mamoswine. I'm really trying. You know, I'll go with Vespiquen because I do like Vespiquen's shiny. We don't hear about it enough. Trying to think here. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna do Cresselia because that's legendary. I really want to keep it for later, but at the same time, you know, I'll go Bronzong because it's like, you know, oxidized iron. Well, copper, I mean, sorry. Almost, so. For bug type. That's actually quite interesting, but I may have to go Skorupi because I like how red it is. And every time I look at it, like my eye instantly goes to Skorupi, and I do like that shiny. Rampardos' shiny is very underrated, and I love Rampardos, and the shiny just deserves more recognition. Drifloon, I definitely believe needs more recognition just as like a Pokemon by itself, but at the same time, as I told you, like I have like my own feelings with it just because it was one of the first shinies I found within Legends Arceus. So I do have a little bit of love for it, but shiny isn't talked about enough. I mean, it really isn't. So yeah, no, we'll just go with that. Really, dragon types. If I were to say out of all of these, we have to break the legendary rule because no one really talks about. Well, everyone talks about Garchomp's line. Well, you know, Gibble for good, Goodbye as okay, and then Garchomp's shiny. It's awful. I'd say Dialga's pretty underrated for a shiny, especially for a dragon. For a dark type, I would have to go. Because we have Drift, so I know that we have Drift Blend for Ghost type. I'm trying to think of like a good counterpart for it. And I'll go Honchkrow because it's not talked about. I don't want to go too much into like the legendaries too much. I know we dabbled into it a little bit, but we kind of had to. Bastiodon, I like it. It's shiny. It's kind of like more subtle, but there's some still shinies that are nice, and it does have a nice subtle shiny. Mime Jr. I'll throw into there because I do like it shiny. Not a very good Pokemon, but it's definitely a underrated shiny. Favorite underrated shiny for the starters? I have to go Torterra. Torterra is never talked about, and it should. Underrated shiny for gimmicks. I would have to say. Lopunny, I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Mega Garchomp because everyone wanted this to be its original shiny, but no one talks about shiny Mega Garchomp enough. Like I hardly even hear anything about it. So with that being said, you know, most underrated shiny legendary, I'd have to probably say that is Darkrai. Okay, I love Darkrai, and it's not talked about enough. At least it's shiny. Like Darkrai's talked about, but not shiny. Like I hardly hear anyone talk about shiny. And my favorite out of all these would probably have to be Darkrai. And just because it would be something, like I know it's like 2 legendaries back to back, but it's just one of those shinies I personally want one. Gen 5, here we go. Oh, I forgot they have the shiny version of the Leg Lady? What? I didn't even know it was a thing. I played through the studio and everything, but I didn't go through that. Jesus. But no. Watchog shiny is pretty underrated. I do like Pat Rat shiny. Underrated. Evolutionary line, but I'll go Pat Rat because I like the gray and blue. Like it just catches my eye and it's really underrated. Underrated fire type. Some people may disagree, but I'm gonna go Chandelier. I know Chandelier is quite liked and well perceived, but it's like I never hear anyone talk about shiny, but I love it shiny. It's a great shiny. So for Jellicent, male or female? The male Jellicent, I like the mint green, but the female Jellicent is a very close second to it but it's just like that mint green is just nice to my eyes. Unrated shiny, I would put Superior here, but I'm gonna put them at starter. I'm gonna say Whimsicott because no one talks about Whimsicott shinies enough. And Whimsicott's kind of becoming more relevant, but I want it to be a little more relevant. But its shiny is not talked about enough. Stunfisk shiny is ultimate underrated. Definitely for a mediocre Pokemon, it's a really underrated shiny, really nice shiny. Excuse me. Crognole has an underrated shiny. Crognole has an interesting shiny. I like how it's like fire coming out of its mouth, kind of like Mario fireballs. Very underrated shiny. For fighting, I'd have to say Scrafty's shiny's pretty underrated. I like how it's all together. Really fun shiny to hunt in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm really trying to remember your name. I know Scolipede, but Willowpede. I don't hear anyone talk about Scolipede shiny often. I really do like its shiny. Extra Drill shiny is never talked about, and I love it shiny because it looks like one of those like old school like gas station like foam drink cups that you get, like the ones with like the weird squigglies and stuff from like the 90s or early 2000s. For flying, I'm going to go with this is actually I'll go with Sigilyph. Underrated Pokemon, underrated shiny. Why is he here? What? I know that he's in the. That's odd to me. This one's quite interesting because not really many of these shinies are really that good. They're really not. I'm trying to think of. I just don't know what form this is, but it's also. This is interesting. I mean, Reuniclus shiny is not talked about hardly at all, so I do like it shiny, so I'll go with it. For bug type, a Caligar shiny is never really talked about. I do like it shiny. I do like the yellow. Crustle, hardly ever talked about, and I love it shiny. Cofagrigus, the shiny is never talked about. Cofagrigus, well, Ruderigus talked more than Cofagrigus, and that's crazy to me. But I love Runerigus though. Druddigon shiny is not that bad, and I do feel that it is underrated. It is also a very underrated dragon type Pokemon, and I do want Druddigon to get a evolution. I hope that they do make it evolve here soon. Underrated dark type. I'll probably go Bisharp because no one really talks about the shiny too much. Everyone's too distracted by King Gambit now. For Steel, I'll go with Scavalier. No one talks about that one enough. Again, we already have Whimsicott, don't we? So I'll put Cottony down there for Fairy. For the starter, Superior, as I said. For gimmick form, underrated Shining. Probably Garbodor. I do like that shiny actually. And for underrated shiny legendary, I'm gonna go Genesect. Not talked about hardly anymore. I know it used to be a craze, but now it's hardly ever talked about. My favorite out of all these, I'm gonna go with Chandelier, just because it's just, you know, orange fire, but it's quite nice. Kalos, though. Let's get into Kalos. I'll go with Heliolisk. Like I'm just like debating still, you know. Yeah, we'll go Heliolisk. I know some people don't like it as it looks sunburnt, but I like the red. I think people are trying to compare him to too much to real life stuff, and they just need to stop. Like, admire what it is, for good lord. Talonflame shiny is hardly talked about, and I like Talonflame. For water type, I'll go Klotzer because no one talked about that enough, but I do like that one a lot. For grass type, Go-Goat Shiny's not talked about enough. Electric type, Denane's not talked about enough. Not like Denane Shiny. Ice type, Aurora Shiny's not talked about enough at all, and it should. For fighting, I'm going to have to go with Halucha. Halucha's shiny is so good, but no one ever talks about it, and I feel that it's underrated. Dragalges is not talked about at all. Very underrated. Very nice shiny though. Shiny ground. Actually quite interesting to get into, but I'll go with Digger's Bee or whatever, the digging bunny, whatever the heck you want to call it. Yeah, but there's Digger's Bee, Dragalge, Halucha. Okay, so to go on the line. Oh my god, look at all these flying. Hardly talked about flying. Quite hard because some of these are actually quite talked about a lot. Vivillon. I'm gonna go with the shiny Pokeball form. Like, I forget everyone talking about it. I think that would be a really cool one to have. For Psychic, I'm gonna go Malamar. I like Malamar is really underrated. Malamar is also really good within Dynamax Adventures. For Bug. You really got it going on. You got a lot going on here. Pincers is not talked about enough. Really nice shiny. For Rock, again, Tyrantrum shiny is like one of the most well-known shinies for like the fossils and just within the game. So I want to go with Diancie. I don't hear anyone talk about Diancie enough. Diancie's not talked about much at all, so Diancie's kind of underrated now, even though it used to be the craze. But now we go on. So I can't go Trevorant or Aegislash. I think that both are talked about enough, and I know that Aegislash is like loved a lot. I'm trying to say Gourgeist. Gourgeist is pretty underrated. I do like that shiny. Dragon. This is actually interesting. You want to know Goodra. Goodra shiny is not talked about enough, and I actually love Goodra shiny. I just love Goodra in general. Goodra's good. Especially its Hisuian form. I like Hisuian form. It's literally just hiding in a big old shell. For dark type, there weren't very many dark types, but I didn't have Pangoro, so I'll do Pangoro. For steel, I'll have to go with shiny Aggron. Like, being like, that one's not talked about enough. And that has a nice shiny. Fairy type. Floette, but it has to be shiny Floette for. No. We'll go. I don't know. Well, interesting enough. I'm not sure. I think Aromatea's shiny not talked about enough, and I do like Aromatea's shiny. It is quite different. So, most underrated shiny for the starters, I would probably have to probably give. I don't want to say Chestnut because Chestnut has been given enough attention, but I'm going to have to say it's going to be one of the Delphox line. I'm actually going to give it to Delphox because I've seen people talk about Brexham's shiny. The shiny gets, and like Brexham gets a little bit more attention with its shiny, so I'll put in Delphox. I'm not trying to do like the final evolutions of everything, but that's just, that's when most of the shinies are mostly like good, and these are like underrated shinies, so good shinies that just don't get enough attention. For gimmick, I'd say underrated out of all of these. Probably shiny Slowbro. I like shiny Slowbro. It's kind of goofy. Underrated shiny legendaries. Oh, this is gonna be controversial, but I'm gonna say Volcanion. Oh, I know people are gonna freaking hate that, but hear me out. It's so ugly. It's neat. It's cool. It's so ugly that it's cool. And my favorite out of all these probably have to be Clawitzer. I like Clawitzer. America. Now on to the Alolan region. This one I'm actually gonna bring up the Pokédex for just real quick because I know there's gonna be some that I do forget, but I think we should be good. Oh, that's interesting. Just because. Oh no, they got gumshoes. Oh yeah, okay. Now I was like, there's no gumshoes. But I kind of like Young Shoes' shiny a little bit more. So I'm gonna put Young Shoes' shiny. It's very underrated. I like that shiny. Turtonator's underrated. I like that shiny. Trying to think. I'm gonna go Wimpod. I like Wimpod shiny. Very underrated. For grass. Interesting. Alolan the Exector's talked about enough. I forget one of these Pokemon's name. It's the Anchor. What are you called? I forget. I think I know by now, but I just keep on forgetting. Oh, Delmise. Oh my god, Delmise. And I didn't even see him on the Pokédex sheet. But I've been trying to find him. I just can't. Oh, there he is, Delmise. Yeah, no, Delmise. I like Delmise shiny. Underrated Pokemon. Not talked about enough. Nice typing as well. Ghost Grass is not seen a lot. Alolan Raichu shiny is not talked about a lot. And I do like it shiny. It's actually a nice shiny. Yeah. It's just nice shiny. Again, the ice types here are not that very good, especially the shinies. But I'd say Alolan Ninetales is not talked about enough, but it's definitely the best one here. So I'm gonna go with Crabominable because it does not have that bad of a shiny. It's an awful Pokemon, but I like it enough. Let's see here for fighting type. Probably. I'd have to go with Beware, just because no one talks about shiny enough, and Beware's talked about, but not shiny. I've hardly seen anything involved with it shiny, like ever on anything. So, for poison, Alolan Muck is hardly talked about, which is funny because the Muck was on here already earlier. Palossand has the best. Well, I don't know. Zygarde is the best shiny, but Alolan not Alolan Palossand, but Palossand. Underrated, not talked about, but it's also like it's such a strong shiny. I have to go with it because it's good, but it's overshadowed by Zygarde. The black form of Minior is like probably like the best. We're gonna go with Toucanon or Toucan Sam. Very, very nice shiny, but hardly talked about ever. Psychic. There's not a lot of psychics here. Trying to think of the Bruxish. Yeah, Bruxish shiny is not talked about enough. Quite nice. It's very tropical, almost like a watermelon, almost. For bug type, I will go. I'm not really sure. Vigavolt's pretty well known. Actually no. Oh, I can't even say it. This is hard. Okay, saying its name. Araquanid. There we go. Araquanid. It's so hard for me to pronounce. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied by it. Can't even speak. But its shiny's underrated. I don't hear about it often. I actually want to shiny hunt this in Scarlet and Violet. Do you guys want to see me shiny hunt this in Scarlet and Violet? Because I would definitely be down. Now on to rock types. I have to say underrated for it. Probably a Alolan Graveler. Definitely not talked about enough. Oh man, I don't know, because I do like it. I don't think I'm gonna put it into legendary. No, I may have to. So Alolan Marowak for Ghost. For Dragon, underrated. I will go with Dranpaw because it's not talked about enough, and it is a nice shiny. I like the yellow, very old skin, fleshy type looking thing. It's kind of odd. Dark type, probably Lowland Persians is the best, like underrated. Not very much there we can choose. For steel types, I would have to say Solgaleo, just because I do like its red shiny, and I do believe that gets too much hate. I do like the redness of it. It almost looks like the colors of a nebula. I really do like that. No pun intended because of Nebby, but for fairy, I'll go with Comfey because no one really talks about it, and I would definitely like to shiny hunt that one. Underrated shiny for the starters is definitely Primarina. Primarina's overhated. Like this was my starter. Like I like Primarina, very good. I really would love to have a shiny of it. For a gimmick, well I mean it is a gimmick, but I'm like trying to think of like best one here. Probably a Alolan Executor because it looks like a freaking palm tree. Oh, really? So they don't consider the all the Ultra Beasts. Okay. So that being said, the my personal underrated ghost type would be Blacephalon. Blacephalon is a very underrated Pokemon in general. Shiny is very nice, and actually, I actually had the shiny in Shield. It's actually one of the first I found in the Dynamax Adventures. So take that as you will. I do like that shiny a lot. Now for legendary, underrated shiny. I mean, everyone talks about Lunala, so it's like, I will go with. Actually, kind of hard. Actually, no, Necrozma. No one talks about just like regular Necrozma enough. So yeah, and then my favorite out of these is definitely going to be Blacephalon, because everyone talks about Blacephalon way too much, like in like negative fashion. It's like, bro, like come on now. For normal types, for going on to Galar. You know, I'll go with double because I do like it shiny. No one talks about that enough. For fire types, I would have to say there's not like enough like. The best one. Excuse me. That's the best one here, but that's underrated. I meant to go with Cinderace. Yeah, I'm going to go with Cinderace. For water types, I'm gonna go with female Basculegion because no one ever talks about female Basculegion enough. For grass types, I'm trying to remember this one's name. Oh yeah, Eldegoss. Oh, Eldegoss. Sorry, yeah, Eldegoss for sure. For electricity, I would have to say toxic. I can't even say it. Toxicity. In this yellow form is not talked about enough, like in shiny. The blue one's always talked about enough, but not the other one. As for the ice typing, I have to go with probably Frostmoth. I like it shiny, but it's underrated. Phalanx is very underrated when it comes to a shiny. I hardly ever see anyone have it on their team, or like a shiny version of it at least. It's like, yeah, no, it's very underrated. Galarian Weezing is pretty underrated. Rudogregus for ground. Yeah, I mean, I would have to. Well, I mean, how many? Yeah, we can figure something out there. See, I'm keep Rudogregus. I like Rudogregus. For flying, probably Cramorant. Not talked about enough. I do like a shiny though. For psychic, I'll probably have to go with Orbeetle because I've never seen a Orbeetle in person. Like I've seen like in videos, but I've never seen it in person. So that's pretty. But at the same time. Okay, so I'll put Orbeetle here, but then for here, I will do. We can do Galarian Slowbro because I don't see very many people talk about it shiny. So yeah, we'll do that. Now as we go on to rock types, Dreadnought. I mean, really, Dreadnought is pretty underrated. It looks like it's just like a regular snapping turtle. I mean, I know that's its whole thing, but it really does. But you know, Cursula. I think Cursula's shiny. Well, no, I mean it's the best shiny here. So, well, actually, no, it's not the best shiny. You got these down here. So yeah, no, I'll put Cursula there just because it's underrated, and some people really know it or they really don't. So it's like, underrated shiny. Okay, I'm gonna do Duraludon. I know that Duraludon's talked about enough, but I hardly hear anyone talk about shiny. It's because the shiny isn't like crazy noticeable, but its entire shiny is like noticeable enough to where you know that there is a change. And I personally like its shiny. I think it's a good subtle shiny. I may go Thievul because I do like Thievul's like entire like robber aesthetic and how it's like now like a like gray snow fox or something, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I'll do for Thievul. Berserker, well, Perzerker, sorry, is hard. It's shinies never talked about, and it's a really nice one. I'll say Hatterene's shinies not that talked about actually. So yeah, I'm gonna put Hatterene in there. Most underrated starter out of all these would probably have to be Inteleon. I do like Inteleon, pretty underrated. And out of the gimmicks, that's an underrated shiny. Best underrated. It's actually kind of hard. I would have to say this is actually really hard. Galarian Rapidash is not well known, and I'll definitely put that in there. I definitely would like to see one in real life. Now for legendary, most underrated shiny would have to be, because no one ever hardly talks about it. But I believe this is the dark. No, this is the water form. I think, yeah, this is water form. Shiny water form. Urshifu. I couldn't even think of its name for a second. So my favorite out of these. Honestly, it's probably Cursula. I mean, Cursula's is really nice. I mean, I do like it. It's really haunting. Now on to Gen 9. Good lordy, we've been through the ringer. And then we will come down and do our the best of each one that I believe is the best. You know, underrated shiny for these. For normal types, would have to be Arboliva, whatever. Yeah. Okay, this is gonna sound really crazy. Okay, I'm not kidding, but Skull Villain, I like it shiny, and I'm just over here debating, but it's underrated Pokemon. It definitely needs a evolution. I feel maybe make it like a fire dragon. I don't know. So for water, this was going to be kind of interesting because they're all kind of well known about, you know. But, you know, I'm going to just go Wugtrio because I don't ever hear anyone talk about Wugtrio shiny. And that is a nice shiny. So for grass, okay. For underrated, I would have to go with Brute Bonnet. No one ever really talks about it like it's shiny. So I'll go with that. For electric type, oh Christ, Sandy Shocks. I mean, it's pretty underrated. I like it. Kind of underrated as a Paradox Pokemon. Shiny Ice. Trying to remember the name of the evolution of Citadel. Well, yeah, no. Out of these two, I definitely would say the underrated shiny. Actually, yeah, no. I'm going to go with Cetitan because Dragon type. I'm going to put yeah, I keep on forgetting their name. Let me try to find them here on to the Pokédex. I apologize. I'm trying to find it on the Pokédex here, but I cannot seem to find it. Oh, Baxcalibur. I wanted to say Baxcalibur, but I didn't know if it was right, but I was right. I can't believe it. Okay. The Flamingo. Well, the Flamigo. Flamigo is a really good shiny, and I think it's a little bit overhated, and you know, so we're gonna throw it down there. I do like Flamigo. Now, for poison, I'm going to have to go with Pekkarunt. I do like it shiny. That's all I ever talk about. I never really looked at it until recently. That's probably one that we'll never get ever. As for ground typing, probably Paldean Quagsire. Now for flying, Bombardiers is not talked about enough, and it's really nice. It's not talked about hardly at all. All these kind of these are all kind of underrated, but Iron Dragulus will get, you know, its own little thing. For Psychic, I would say the most underrated, because Farigiraf is pretty well known. Again, stumped on something that I thought would have been easy to figure out, but it's just not coming to fruition. But I may go with Espartha, because I do like Espartha. For bug types, Spidops is underrated, and shiny is underrated. I mean, it makes sense because its stats are not the best, but at the same time, it's like, Cloth is underrated, shiny, underrated Pokemon. I kind of like it. It's just crabs. It's just a crab. And then for Fairy, well, not Fairy, but for Ghost, I am looking forward to Fairy though. But for Ghost, underrated. I may have to go with Fluttermane, because I don't... Well, no, Fluttermane's pretty well known. I can't do that. Well, that's actually kind of a pain. Houndstone. I'm gonna go with Houndstone is pretty underrated, because I feel that Greavard is talked about more. It's shiny, but Houndstone isn't. As for dragons, underrated shinies, that's kind of hard to deal with. But, I mean, you know, I forgot Baxcalibur. I'll put Baxcalibur, but I was between him and Archaudon. But Archaudon's kind of talked about enough with its shiny. For dark types, when it comes to shinies, I'll probably have to go with Mabostiff. For steel, people talk about Orthworm enough. But no one talks really about Tinkaton, so I'll go Tinkaton there. For Fairy, for underrated, I'm going to go Screamtail, because that is a nice shiny. For starter, underrated would have to be Skeldurge. Skeldurge is what I went with, and I love Skeldurge so much. I have my own shiny of it as well. I shiny hunted that. Via eggs, of course, but Gimmick. Most underrated for Gimmick. Probably Poltegeist. Or would it be? Yeah, I would say that one's pretty underrated. For legendary, I would probably put my bets as most underrated. Probably Wo-Chin, because no one talked about Wo-Chin enough, and I really do like the red autumn leaves on it. And my favorite out of all of these, gee, that's kind of hard. I would, you know, I'm gonna go with Skeldurge. I like the pink Skeldurge. So that's my favorite out of all of these. So for normal types, my favorite normal type will probably have to be Porygon Z. For fire types, it will probably have to be the Chandelure, and this is all for the underrated shinies. For water type, ooh, this one's kind of hard because we got some good ones in here. I will probably go with Starmie just because it holds most, you know, for me. For grass types, I'm gonna go controversial, and I'm gonna go Delmise. I really like Delmise's like almost like bloody seaweed on it. Like I like that. Electric type, probably Sandy Shocks is my favorite. For ice, I'm definitely gonna go with Aurorus. For fighting, my favorite out of these is probably gonna be Hawlucha. For poison, my favorite, I'm gonna go with this is actually kind of hard, just because I'm gonna go Scolipede. I like Scolipede. For ground type, I'm gonna go with Pilosand. Not Pilosand. What the heck am I talking about? Piloswine's here, but I want basically the haunted sand, the Palisand. Well, I was right. Palisand. I thought I said like Piloswine, Palisand, but Palosand, not Pilosand, Palosand. I'll throw into there. For flying, I would have to probably say my favorite. This is hard because there's not like underrated shinies for them. I'll probably go Crobat just because it's something familiar. Out of the psychics, Malamar. I like Malamar. For bug, I'm going to have to go with. I'm going to go with Fortress just because in game it just looks so nice. For rock type, I'm going to go Rampardos. For ghost type, I'm definitely going to go with Bucephalon. For dragon type, my favorite dragon type, like underrated shiny on here, will definitely have to be Kingdra. For dark type, I will go. Excuse me. This is hard. Probably Bisharp. I like blue's my favorite color. For steel, my favorite out of these guys will probably have to be. It's actually going to be an interesting take, but I'm actually going to go with Solgaleo, just because it's just like if you see that on the field, it's like, oh my god, that's such a eyesore of a shiny. But it's like it's so noticeable, you just can't stop looking at it, Almost like how some people look at the sun, which I do not recommend doing. Do not look at the sun with your bare eyes, at least not with like eclipse goggles. During an eclipse though, during an eclipse only. For fairy type, I'm going to go with Hatterene. For starter, my favorite out of all of them probably have to be Swampert. For the gimmick, my favorite out of this, This is actually kind of difficult. I'm going to go with Mega Garchomp just because I really wish this was Garchomp's regular shiny. For legendaries, though, I will go with. I'll go with Darkrai just because no, Latias. I forgot Latias was there. Latias, but Darkrai's really close. I do love Darkrai shiny. And then my absolute favorite out of all of these. Oh my god, that's a hard question. I'm going to give it to Latias. I just love Latias and Latios' shiny is just, it's very underrated. It's always overshadowed by Latios. Latios is awesome. I do love Latios' shiny. I'd say about equally as Latios' shiny. Both are really good. I can't really choose them both. But the reason why Latios is on here is just because people do talk about Latios and Latios' shiny a little bit more than Latios. But yeah. This is my list for underrated shinies, the best underrated shinies. Let me know if you agree or disagree. What would you change on here? What do you like most? Do you agree with everything or do you disagree? Again, thank you for being patient with me. And again, we're at 71 subscribers. Thank you guys again. We're getting closer and closer to the 100 mark, and I'm going to do a very big special for you guys once we hit 100 subscribers. So, as always, be a chomp above the rest. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And just thank you again just for all of the support that you guys have been showing. Have a good night, and I will most likely see you guys tomorrow. See ya.